How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a comparison of two knives that I don't normally see talked about too much, which is going to be the Jimpy Designs Sentinel, that is this knife here, and the Jimpy Designs Zentinel, which is its bigger, or I guess younger brother. Let's get into that. Also here, the Jimpy Tux mod might be brought up later. So let's start off with the Sentinel. Close this and set them aside. This came out, what, like 3 or 4 years ago? I don't quite remember. Doesn't really matter. I didn't buy it then. I bought this secondhand off of Ryan CCC98 on Instagram. It's a satin Sentinel. But I have used and abused this over the past 2 years that I've had it. This was like my first high quality titanium knife. Before that, the main like flipper I used, like my first like titanium knife, was my Atropos Demon here. I still love my Demon. It's just a freaking rep, but like it's good. It's fun. It's like fun to flip. It's just a rep though. Anyway, getting sidetracked. I bought this, I think, like $540, maybe $450. I don't exactly remember. But it was a satin, and I had used it, and it looked like minorly stonewashed by like a couple months ago. So I put a minor polish on it. It's not perfect. It's not particularly sharp either. But I just wanted it to look a bit more pretty. And I think she definitely does now. So first differences between the Sentinel and Zentinel, obviously the tang pins. So you can see that there. There is no jimping on the Sentinel, which doesn't bother me too much. This titanium provides a lot of grip, even with it being polished, or with the minor polish. Like, it feels really good. It's got really square yet rounded handles. It feels like kind of like tsunami handles. Obviously the tsunami's Chanwich and has texturing. Oh yeah, no texturing on this, but that's just because this is a satin. He did have a textured version. I just did not happen to buy that because this was what was available to me at the time. I love this thing. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite knife. I have a really hard time choosing, but it is the one that I probably put the most amount of time on. Even with my vast-ish collection. I have something like 32 knives now. Too many. It's a lot of money. Anyway, so just gonna say the obvious joke with the guy being called with his name of Jimpy Designs. Where's the jimping, my guy? Like, I love me some good jimping. Obviously this one has enough grip so it works, but like, come on, jimping every day. So let's get to the Zentinel here. This one came out about a year ago, maybe almost 2 years ago. I'm not really good with time. I pre-ordered this because I love the Sentinel, so when I saw he was like remaking it, I was like, oh shit, I gotta buy that. I paid for what, like the $550, $450? I don't remember what it was. This is the textured. You can see a little bit of the texturing there. They have essentially the same handle. Let's see if I can try and, like, yeah. I think it's might be a little bit thicker. The handle gap is bigger on this. You can see that here. It's definitely a little bit bigger. We have jimping on this one, which is really nice. Personally, I don't care for this jimping too much. It's like tsunami jimping. And I don't really care for the tsunami jimping. Doesn't really do much. I think it would have just been better had they cut out those back notches there. Would have been fine. But whatever, it's jimping nonetheless. Also, this is like a kind of moot point, but personally, if you're going to add jimping to one side, add it to the other. I get it doesn't work really well with this design, but that's kind of, I was like, just cut off those pieces, give us some jimping there. I don't know. That's a personal preference. If I had it my way, I'd have jimping up the whole fucking knife. So this one is on Zen pins. You can see that here, it's a hidden Zen pin knife. I don't remember what the locking mechanism, he had like a specific name for it, but you can see there that this piece comes off. So you can adjust the Zen pins as you need, or if you need to take them out and replace them. I don't remember exactly what the point was, but it was something interesting. This, so what? This, like its older brother, is neutral handle bias, so it flips really neutrally, but it definitely has a bit more of a handle bias if you're putting the weight in one area. It's definitely more towards the handles. So you can see it fans really well. Even the chokers aren't that bad. I think there's a minor bit of drag, but if you that kind of depends on the speed that you go at it. If you have a lot of torque, it seems to even out pretty well. This thing's sharp, like very sharp. I don't know what I would compare it to as a flipper. Like, what does it flip like? I've mentioned the Tsunami a couple times, but the Tsunami is considerably lighter. The Zentinel, sorry, this is the Zentinel, the younger brother, is I think about 4.5 ounces. I have a scale somewhere here, but I don't want to go digging around for it. So I'm going to say 4.5. I measured them semi-recently. I just don't exactly remember the exact. So it's like 4.5. It might be like 4.45, something like that. And the Sentinel is about 4.6. It might be like 4.65. I don't exactly remember. Both flip fairly similarly. It really kind of does just feel like if you took this tang pin knife and put Zen pins on it and then kind of made it slightly better. I personally like the way that the Sentinel flips a little bit more. You can see the Archangel inspiration. I think Jimpy Designs has said before that the Archangel is like one of his favorite knives, and this, you can kind of see the inspiration there, but all basic old titanium knives just add the same kind of cutout design. That's something to be said. They do obviously have that same cutout design. They look very similar. It's just those minor differences. I think I just like the controllability that you get with the tang pins. I think tang pins make it a little bit easier to control where the weight is going because they get really stuck into that pivot cup. But yeah. Compared to the Zentinel, let's just do some flips. This has considerably nicer sound. Like, that's pretty instantly noticeable. Has a really good ring to it. It's more like a jab, for example, which is kind of funny that it sounds more like a jab, which is another tang pin knife. This is another one of my favorite flippers, and this is kind of, I think I like tang pins just a little bit more. I like the controllability. Some may say that you get less controllability with tang pins and Zen pins, but that might be the similar issue with when it comes to tap and play. So this is my beater Polaris, has a bunch of tap, a bunch of play, but that kind of gives you more range of motion to correct while flipping. So that's why I think I don't particularly mind tap and play too much. On my really nice knives, I don't really want any. There's a little bit there, but this isn't perfectly tuned. BRS, right? Obviously this is perfect. There might be some minor play. Very, very minor play. But no tap, no wiggle. And then this just isn't tuned perfectly. There's a little bit of wiggle, but no, not really tap. I need new pivots. One of these, this screw is slightly stripped, so I was gonna go buy some, but don't got that money right now to spend $10 on a pack of pivots. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, like how the Sentinel, or the Zentinel, gosh, sounds more similar to like another tank pin knife, but I think it's just titanium quality. I don't think there's a difference in quality, really. It might just be machining, the way it was made, but this does feel like nicer quality than this does. I assume they're both TC or grade 5. I know they're both grade 5. Just they feel slightly different, but that's, again, a moot point. If I was going to say to get one or the other, I wouldn't. Like, both are really good. If you can get one or the other, like, just get one. Like, they're both good. Personally, I like the Sentinel a little bit more, but I think I'm just biased because I love my Sentinel. It's probably my most used knife. I think I've said that a couple times now. But the Zentinel's like not bad. It took me like 2 months though to like really start liking it. I've only kind of started flipping it recently, and when it came out like last Christmas, I think it was. So it's been about a year of me having this, and it kind of just is one of those knives that usually sits in my collection, not really doing much, because I have a tendency to lean towards like my favorite knives or some of my preferred ones over this usually. Same goes for like my Serif. I don't flip my Serif a lot. I like it. I enjoy the way it flips, but it's just not like what I would choose. I've been trying to work on flipping knives that aren't really my go-to more frequently. Just been falling out of the hobby a little bit, so I'm trying to pick myself back up a little bit. I don't know. I don't think I have much more to say here. The Sentinel or the Zentinel's really good. If you like Zen pin knives more than tank pin knives, I would get this. I think it's more of a competitive flipper. Like I keep trying not to compare this to a Tsunami because they're not super comparable, but like that's the only thing that can kind of come to my head. I don't have a Tsunami, but I flipped a couple. And this is reminiscent of it. It's just, I know the Tsunami's a little bit lighter. I think it's like 4 flat, I believe. I'm not certain on that. Don't quote me. And I think this just fits my preferred knife weight ratio. I prefer a slight handle bias in a neutral knife. So I think that's why I like my Sentinel a little bit more. It's a little bit more handle biased than the Zentinel is. This one's definitely a little bit more neutral, but they're both still a little bit handle leaning biased. Yeah, final thoughts. Both are good. Flip them if you got one. Try one if you have someone that, or if you know someone that has one, because they're really good. I love my Sentinel. I don't think I'd ever trade it or sell it. I'm not usually that type of person. I don't really like getting rid of my knives. I gain too much of a bond to them the second I receive them. Yeah, that's about it. Trying to think if there's anything else. They're both good, man. Like, I love my Sentinel. If I had to choose between one or the other, I'd probably choose the Sentinel just because I love it. There's also less parts on this, so I don't have to worry about, like, if something broke, like, or lost a Zen pin, for example. I know that'd be kind of hard with this, the locking mechanism, but I don't know. Something about tank pin knives. Like I was saying, I have a bunch of knives in my collection, so if you guys would be interested in watching a collection video, I have something like 32 knives. They're all in this bag and some other boxes. I also have like 4 knives on the way, some clones. So if you're interested in more reviews, they're all pretty much knives that have been talked about before. so I probably don't have that much of a new opinion I could put on them. But if it's interesting, I'll do it. There is one that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, and I'm kind of interested to try that one. But we'll see. One of those knives may be similar to one of these here. Anyway, adios. Y'all have a good day. Stay flippin'.